welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and today's video is 5 things we learned from Manchester United 1, Crystal Palace 3. My post-match reaction, 5 things we learned. And Manchester United have lost their first ever Premier League game since Bruno Fernandes joined the club. We hadn't lost a Premier League game since Burnley, and we lost 3-1 to Crystal Palace on the opening day. And I've got to say, fair play to Crystal Palace. You deserve to win. I'm bloody furious with VAR. I thought that is generally the worst VAR decision I've seen under VAR, and the fact that the penalty had to be retaken I thought was atrocious. I'm angry that we get called VARchester United, but maybe in our last couple of games we've had penalties that we should have had taken away from us because of our stereotype of VARchester United, in the sense that VAR were cruel to us today. Arguably we could have had a penalty on Pogba, but there's no way that was a penalty in Lindelof, and the fact that it was retaken over such a silly rule was absolutely stupid. But we still deserve to lose, even though we were massively mugged off with VAR, and VAR was a disgrace. And today's video is 5 things we learned from the game. And my one real message is, if we were run like a proper club, if we had our business done early, we could have had Gabriel, we could have had Reguilon, and we could have had Jadon Sancho playing for us today, and it would have made such a difference. I mean, Van de Beek made such a difference. That's one signing. Well, why don't we get a few bloody more? But let's get into the video. So please hit that like button if you want Ed Woodward and the Glazers out our club. Hit that like button and subscribe down below if you hate VAR. Now, the first point I want to get into is our defence is not good enough. Lindelof was an absolute clown today. Maguire is too slow. Their attackers did our defence. We looked like what's that team that we look like Tranmere bloody Rovers. Like, Maguire and Lindelof, they're too slow, they don't work together. Quick, tricky, dribbling attackers outplayed us. Roy Hodgson out-tactically managed us, you know, high pressure so we make mistakes, running at our centre-backs that are slow. You know, Roy Hodgson, fair play, he stole the show in terms of tactics. But Maguire and Lindelof, they're not good enough, and they haven't been good enough lately. They don't work as a pair, they're both too slow, and they were both awful today. Now, I've been saying how I actually thought Lindelof had been pretty decent lately, how I think is actually a better player than Maguire, but today, Lindelof probably put his worst ever performance in a Manchester United shirt on today. I like it to Lindelof, and I think I really feel sorry for him with the penalty. He had a part to play in all 3 goals. You know, it was his fault for all 3 goals. The penalty, you know what? That's not his fault. Fuck VAR, that's not his fault. But Lindelof was bloody awful today. He was a clown. It was like clowns defending. Maguire was bloody awful, let's be honest. Luke Shaw, you know, Luke Shaw had some spells where he looked good. He was making some good runs going forward. But the first goal, Luke Shaw was not there. Defensively, we were awful. And the problem is, because we were so bad defensively and we couldn't get the ball out from the back quick enough because they were putting pressure on us, we barely had enough time to attack. So we were so poor defensively. And then going forward, we kept losing the ball. We couldn't even get the ball forward to our attackers. McTominay, I love McTominay. You know what? He made some good last man tackles, but he's not a CDM, and I'll get into that later. But the defence was awful today, and the defence let us down. It's not the attack's fault. They were starved of service. They didn't get the ball to them that much. Did you see Dan James and Rashford on the ball that much? No, you didn't. But the defence today was bloody awful, and it just highlights that we need Jadon Sancho, but we also maybe need a CDM, and we also need another centre-back. Let's be honest. Maguire and Lindelof, too slow, don't work together. They were awful today. The second point is the only positive in this video, because, I mean, it could be 5 negatives, but I always want to put positive in, and I'm very happy that Donny van de Beek scored. I thought Donny van de Beek was good. He came on, he wasn't on for that long. I also thought Bruno Fernandes was quite good. Yeah, it wasn't Bruno Fernandes' best games, but he was always trying to make something happen. The amount of tackles he made, he runs back and makes the tackles. He was that one player that I felt like gave their all today. Bruno Fernandes was that one player on the pitch where I felt that he gave his all. He was trying to make things happen. He had a few sloppy passes, but he was always creating something. He was always moving the ball forward. He was always moving the ball somewhat quickly. So you know what, Bruno Fernandes, you know, it's a one-man show. If all the other players stepped up and performed to a good standard, maybe Bruno Fernandes could have got a goal and assist. But, you know, the other players didn't step up around him. But I thought Bruno Fernandes was quite good today. I don't think he was brilliant. You know, everyone was poor today, but I thought Bruno Fernandes and Donny van de Beek showed some positivity. I thought they played quite well together in the midfield. However, we didn't have a CDM to get the ball to them quickly. I think McTominay's too slow on the ball. He doesn't release it quick enough to Bruno and Van de Beek. So then they get marked, it's tight, we get the ball away. And we gave the ball away so much today. Paul Pogba probably put one of his worst performances in a Manchester United shirt on today. The amount of times he gave away the ball, the amount of fouls he gave away, physically, mentally, we were just not up to it today. The third point is lack of sharpness. We were just not sharp. They were much fitter than us, they were much more on it than us. I thought they were better tactically managed than us. I'm not going to put any hate on Ollie, I'm not going to be Ollie out or any of that, because at the end of the day, it's the way the club's run. The problem with Manchester United is the way the club's run. It's not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I don't think he's the best manager, I don't think he's the most experienced manager, but today we were tactically outclassed. They were sharper, they were fitter, they were better than us, but the real problem at the club is the board. I also have to point out in this point that I thought we played too narrow. They did what Southampton did against us, where they put lots of pressure on us and we try and play out from the back, and all our players are so narrow that we lose the ball a lot. I think we need to play the ball a lot wider. I did focus on that. Fourth point I want to talk about is McTominay is not a CDM. Now, I love Scott McTominay. He's one of my favourite Manchester United players, but he's not a CDM. He just doesn't look comfortable in that position. I thought Fred and Matic do a much better role in that position. I think McTominay is more of a box-to-box, and I think him playing in that CDM role meant that Pogba had to go deeper and do more defensive duties, which meant Pogba made more mistakes. If you have a player like Ndidi in there that is very strong tackler CDM, it gives Pogba the freedom to unlock more of his attacking abilities. And I thought going forward, Pogba was much better than he was defensively today, although he did lose the ball 1,000 billion times. But McTominay's not a CDM. We need an Ndidi kind of player to unlock Pogba, to unlock Bruno, to unlock the best out of our midfield. And it just shows that we're nowhere near. And today it just shows we're nowhere near where we want to be, because I think from today's match we've learnt that we don't just need Jadon Sancho, we need an Ndidi, and we need a good another centre-back. We need a good another centre-back, because the defence was awful. Fifth and final point is sign some players. The fifth thing we learnt is sign some players. I know I've said this about 100 times in this video, but we lost 3-1 to Crystal Palace. The Crystal Palace that lost like 8 games in a row. Like, Crystal Palace, you know, they had a lot of their first team players out, especially in defence, and we didn't really challenge them defensively, and that's mainly down to the midfield and the defence. I thought Bruno and Van der Beek were decent. I thought, you know what, Martial didn't get much of the ball, but he didn't really do anything wrong. I thought Daniel James looked better than a lot of the other players. Rashford didn't really do anything. Greenwood looked alright, but we're just poor, and we need to sign some players. It's so frustrating, because if we maybe had some more players, it could have made such a difference. You know, we were unlucky with VAR, but all in all, to sum up my post-match reaction, to sum up my performance analysis, we were not good enough. Manchester United were not good enough today. Van der Beek scored, the only positive. We were tactically outclassed. The club is run like shambles. There should be more new signings added to the squad. Our only new signing added to the squad was Van der Beek, and he was the only player that had a real impact on the game, showing new signings needed. Defence was messy. Our defence was clowns. It was embarrassing. We could have conceded like 5 goals. They were running rings all over us in defence. Pogba was just rubbish today. I feel bad for Fred, because he looked good towards the end of the season. Why isn't he being played? We were mugged off today. We looked like mugs. We played badly. We deserved to lose. I'm not very happy at all. But Van der Beek scored. I'm just going to say that, so there's one positive in this video. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe down below, share this video, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Go on, have a rant, have a rage, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. That's my post-match reaction to Manchester United 1, Crystal Palace 3.